The NBA free agency period has begun, and with it comes several complications, to say the least. Our sources told us that the Phoenix Suns, the American basketball team from Arizona, reportedly matched an outrageous offer to retain big man Deandre Ayton, an offer that would pay off our student debts and our mortgage, among other things. Curious to know more of the nitty-gritties? Let's dive right in. First up, here's the crux of the entire situation. The Indiana Pacers appear to have landed the biggest name of the NBA free agency period thus far, after the 23-year-old Deandre Ayton agreed to a maximum contract offer sheet worth a whopping $197 million. The Suns were given only 48 hours to match the offer sheet or risk losing Ayton for nothing. Can anyone guess what happened? In short, Deandre Ayton's stay in the Arizona desert will be extended for the time being. The Phoenix Suns' chances of acquiring Kevin Durant have now taken a significant hit after matching the Indiana Pacers' record offer sheet for restricted free agent Deandre Ayton. Some say this is a move that has completely altered the NBA trade and free agency landscape. Despite having 2 days to decide, the Phoenix Suns reportedly chose to match the Indiana Pacers offer sheet for star center Deandre Ayton in less than a minute. That's how much the man was in demand. Previously, Ayton, a restricted free agent, had agreed to a 4-year, $133 million maximum contract offer sheet with the Indiana Pacers, with only 48 hours to match Ayton's offer sheet or risk losing Ayton, whom they drafted with the first overall pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, to the Pacers for nothing. Phoenix's decision to match the largest offer sheet in NBA history was obviously a no-brainer. However, the Suns' decision to match the offer could have a significant impact on their chances of acquiring Kevin Durant from the Brooklyn Nets, as Phoenix will now be unable to trade Ayton until at least January 15 of next year. Furthermore, the 23-year-old big man now has veto power over any trade for a full year, severely limiting the Suns' options in any potential Durant trade. Following Durant's earlier trade request and reported desire to join the Suns, the Arizona Wildcats product has been viewed as a key trade chip for Phoenix to use in their pursuit of perennial all-star Kevin Durant this offseason. Despite potentially having Deandre Ayton's new max salary on the roster, Phoenix reportedly has the assets to legally make a Kevin Durant trade happen, according to NBA reporter Evan Sidery. However, a package centered on Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, expiring salaries, and all of their future draft picks is highly unlikely to satisfy the Brooklyn Nets' lofty demands. It was reported that the Suns and Pacers were close to a sign and trade for Ayton. However, once Ayton signed the binding offer sheet with Indiana, any possibility of a sign and trade agreement was shattered. Ayton has blossomed into a foundational piece for a resurgent Phoenix franchise since entering the league, averaging 17.2 points, 10.2 rebounds per game last season while starting 58 games at center. However, a schism developed between the two teams during this year's playoffs. Ayton was benched by coach Monty Williams during the second half of the Suns' Game 7 loss to the Mavericks. Ayton and Williams appeared to be in a verbal altercation on the sideline and had to be separated. The Suns had an opportunity to sign Ayton to a long-term contract in October. However, the two sides were unable to reach an agreement on the full maximum contract, which Ayton desired. Now, 9 months later, Ayton has received the maximum contract he sought, but you can't help but suspect that the relationship between the two parties has been severely strained. Whether Phoenix intends to keep Ayton long-term or simply bide their time until the mid-season trade window opens, and they can find a team to take him off of their hands. It is critical that they quickly repair the fractured relationship with the star center, or things could get ugly fast. While Deandre Ayton's long-term playing future remains unknown, matching the Pacers' offer sheet has significantly hampered the Suns' pursuit of Kevin Durant in the short term. Next, let's have a look at Pacers and Spurs' potential players in multi-team deals. According to NBA reporter Evan Sidery, the Indiana Pacers and San Antonio Spurs are two teams to keep an eye on for the rest of the offseason, as they both shape as potential facilitators for future deals due to their robust salary cap flexibility. San Antonio and Indiana are the only teams in the league with more than $30 million in available cap space, making them ideal candidates for multi-team trades. According to Sidery, Indiana is the team that will be most interesting to watch moving forward after their failed attempt to sign restricted free agent center Deandre Ayton. Attention now turns to Miles Turner, who the Pacers have now seemingly shown they don't believe in long-term after going all-in for Deandre Ayton, he said. This speculation is caused by an earlier report from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski that the Pacers have waived guard Dwayne Washington and were waiving and stretching Malik Fitz, Nick Stauskas, and Juwan Morgan, the three players acquired in the Boston trade for Malcolm Brogdon, to create the cap space needed to sign Ayton to a max offer sheet. Now, here's some other news that might interest you, starting with Kyrie Irving's future. With Durant on his way out of Brooklyn, it appears that Kyrie Irving will follow suit. When Durant first requested a trade, the Lakers, Mavericks, Sixers, Heats, and Clippers were all mentioned as possible suitors for Irving. That has all changed, with the Lakers now considered the only legitimate team with a genuine interest. With James Harden and Tyrese Maxey in the backcourt, Philadelphia is set. Meanwhile, Dallas was offered Irving in the aftermath of Jalen Brunson's departure to New New York but declined. The same is true for Miami, which has prioritized its pursuit of Durant before making any drastic moves. The Clippers should see how they do with the healthy Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Taking on Irving for all of his talents on the court is always a risk given the off-court drama he seems to be involved in. The Lakers are no stranger to drama, both on and off the court, and will not be deterred by any of it. However, the question is, what kind of package could LeBron James and company put together to bring Irving to Los Angeles? The simple answer is, with no one else appearing to be interested in Irving at the moment, the Lakers don't have to make any dramatic moves just yet. A little birdie tells us that the rival scouts and executives are divided on whether the Lakers can land Irving. LeBron James' contract extension deadline in early August is viewed as a key date in determining whether the move is feasible. Talon Horton Tucker does have an $11 million player option that he can exercise next offseason, but at this point, it appears that the Lakers will wait until Durant is dealt before making a move. That, of course, could take some time if current reports are to be believed. Russell Westbrook has also been mentioned as a possible trade chip, though it has been reported that a third team would be almost certainly involved. Next on our news radar, Knicks in discussion with Jazz about deal for Donovan. According to Shams Charania, the Tony Jones of The Athletic, the New York Knicks and Utah Jazz have begun talks about a potential trade for star point guard Donovan Mitchell. According to SNY ENTV's Begley, the Knicks do not intend to include RJ Barrett in any deal and have no interest in moving him, despite recent rumors linking the franchise to a potential hit trade for the Utah star Donovan Mitchell. Begley also reported that while the New York team currently has Utah's full attention in Donovan Mitchell trade talks, the Knicks' interstate rival is also interested in acquiring Mitchell from the Jazz. The Brooklyn Nets have interest in acquiring Mitchell, he said. Lastly, let's see why NBA commissioners' comments sound like ominous warning for player movement. Before the Kevin Durant situation, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver believed that stars making trade reports while under long-term contracts were bad for the sport, and the unfolding situation in Brooklyn hasn't changed his mind. My view hasn't changed, he said. He stated that he's realistic that there's always conversations that are going to go on behind closed doors between the players and the representatives of the teams, but that he didn't like to see players requesting trades, and that they didn't like to see it playing out the way it is. In even more warnings, the NBA Commissioner stated that the league intends to address this issue as soon as possible. According to him, not only the league or team governors may be impacted, but many other players as well. So it would be one of those issues that will come up as they progress through the collective bargaining cycle. He also stated that they intend to consult with their players' union. It'll never be the case when players won't be unhappy in certain situations, but we don't want to see it playing out the way it is now, he said. That's all for this video, folks. Let us know your thoughts. Do you think our big guy Ayton was worth the money? We would love to know. Goodbye.